Mathmech strategy. We didn't even really pick it up on the deck breakdown because, of course, it was one of the other decks, but we didn't even realize that there's still a Mathmech deck in the tournament. And then while we were checking for the decks, we were like, there's actually Mathmech still in the tournament. And it plays versus Purrely, so that's a perfect featured match here for top 32.
Yeah, and if you have paid close attention, oh god.
That's not what a Mathmech deck is supposed to do.
I was so excited. Mathmech is one of my favorite decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Also at the moment, and every time I get to cast one of those, they just brick. So that is not the most ideal start.
The crowd with a bit of a sarcastic sense of humor there, applauding the set one monster pass.
A lot of fans, of course, for Adrian Durson. He has tried to go to the World Championship for so many times, so maybe today is his day. Maybe he makes his way into the top 4 of his tournament.
I mean, that's a sign, right?
He only has to win a couple of games from now on. And this game is starting off quite strong for him. And we're going to get the My Friend Purrely here through the Purrely.
Now we are going to show 3 memories.
Yes. It is not possible anymore to go for triple delicious memory because that card now with the newest Forbidden and Limited list is indeed limited, but we can still go for others. Let's see which ones he is revealing here.
When you're going second, I feel like Happy Memory is the premium pick.
Yeah,
I think that's what I see Adrian fishing out of his deck, but I guess we'll have to...
So there is Delicious Memory and I think double Happy Memory. So he still tries to get the Delicious Memory just in case. It might also be that he already has one Happy Memory in hand. So he gets that one.
I mean, if you're going second, you really want to have the combination of Happy Memory and Delicious Memory to get the maximum amount of attack and the maximum amount of attacks.
Yeah,
and he did get the Delicious Memory. Only the one-up, but he found the card from the triple reveal of My Friend Purrely.
Basti, I think that happened every time we casted a Purrely match, also at German Nationals.
German Nationals.
Always the Delicious Memory.
It feels like this card is not limited, but just going to fight its way every single time. We can just discard the Dark Ruler no more. Would have not been that impressive in this matchup anyways, but of course, now that there are no monsters to negate, we just don't have to focus on that.
Beautiful collected rare Purrely right here.
That is a very pretty cat.
And we're going to use the effect of Purrely. Do we hit? There is the field spell right away, so yes, indeed, we do hit. Stray Purrely Street is being added to his hand. So it's nice, because in the beginning it looked like Stray Purrely Street wasn't really a card people were even considering to play. You were playing a lot of other cards, but not the field spell. But now it has become a triple choice. Or like, I just read the triple tactics Talon in his main and also triple tactics Frost. But yes, he's also playing triple Stray Purrely Street.
It is nice now, I guess, having that extra value of being able to fish out any Purrely spell from your deck, because now it can be very hard otherwise to access that Delicious Memory.
And there we go. There is a Purrely Plump being summoned.
How easy is it for the Purrely deck to put 8,000 damage in?
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy?
It has been used as a blind go second deck recently that's just super, super good at ending the game in the first turn. For example, Markus Jonte topped German Nationals with it, so I think it is definitely capable.
So I feel like the easiest way to do that in the past was with multiple copies of Delicious Memory, but okay.
That was quick! Adrian Durson has it. Mathmech right now, because they did lose to Mathmech Circular on the last Forbidden and Limited list, but there's also something that they just recently gained, because they now have Link Decoder in their extra deck, which is honestly a really, really powerful card. And that is probably one of the reasons why Manuel was able to have success this weekend.
Very good generic, or not really generic, but a Cyber's Link 1 monster. Now we are starting with something that you can't really be too happy about as Manuel, because you have to normal summon the Diameter for nothing, then special summon the Subtraction and go for an Alembertion. Of course, this one can negate everything that his opponent does in this turn now, but only for this turn.
Does have a little trap.
He tries to Ash Blossom, but of course that is going to be negated.
Feels like a big mistake from Adrian there, right? Yeah. Because you might as well just leave it until...
and look at his face. He really forgot about it. He's shaking his head. There is, of course, the Diameter. You said it was there for nothing, but it was there for a very good reason, because it provided the negate here for the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So it was definitely worth going for that route. And now Adrian is down to only 4 cards in his hand.
Basti, please tell me, does Adrian Is he maybe just a great actor who also has Nibiru in his main deck?
That would be super
Or is
cool.
this really
There is no
only...
Nibiru at all in main or side decks, so that is definitely not something we can see happening. There's Nabla now, so now that Mathmech Circle is at 1, we of course have to find some new ways to play, and apparently Mathmech Nabla is going to be one of them.
Is there any synchros to take advantage
I
of
also was
running
curious
Vecino?
about that, but there's not a singular synchro monster in his extra deck.
Okay, it's just an extra name, perhaps.
So Nabla is used for some combo routes where you don't get a Diameter into the graveyard, and then you have to special summon out the Nabla with Alimbertion to tribute it, and then special summon out something else. Also, this is really good because now the Sigma was special summoned from the deck and can be used later on again. It won't be banished because you have already gone through your Alimbertion, so no way to get a re-special summon Sigma into the graveyard. And now we're going for Splash Mage.
There comes Splash Mage. It feels like the deck kind of does the same thing it did for a while, right? You're just going to end on Heat Soul. You play a bunch of hand interactions such as the good old Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Ghost Bell, Ghost Mono, Ghost Ogre, Infinite Impermanency. I can't even stop because they're all in there,
There's
basically.
just a ton of interruptions there. I like, it's kind of a nice strategy, just running 2 of each just to decrease the chances of drawing multiple copies of one. If you know, some of the newer cards, obviously you can't use multiple copies of it
Totally, I
in
agree.
the same turn.
Yeah, I definitely do agree.
And when they're all kind of like do a fairly similar thing and you're not really massively preferring one over the other, it makes sense. But we do see like 3 Ash Blossom, for example, because it is probably the most powerful out of those.
I'm really surprised by Mathmech being in the top cut. We have seen so many Dragon Bestial players in this tournament already. And even if you're able to stop their combo with all of those hand traps, one, or if you have Bell 2 Bestials, stop your Super Factorial from being effective at all.
Yep, and we did search the Super Factorial. And with 2 set cards, it's going over to the turn of Adrian Dursun. And I think we're thinking in the draw phase, and that would be a huge indicator for a potential anti-spell fragrance that is just not going to be used here just yet. We're starting off with the Heat Soul, okay.
Just scaring Adrian a bit there, saying like, oh, let me just check if I have an anti-spell. I can't remember.
I mean, I don't think there would be an anti-spell, because if there was the small chance of a Forbidden Chalice in the hand of Adrian.
But there is an anti-spell
okay.
fragrance by Manuel. There it is. And we are, as we said earlier, going to be able to chain our quick plays, and that is the Sleepy Memory that is being chained here.
Maybe trying to find another Ash before we flip the anti-spell fragrance and force our opponent to use one of the quick play spells.
You wanted him to play around the Forbidden Chalice.
Yeah, I see it now.
I love it.
It's okay.
Oh, we are going to discard the field spell, and we're going to special summon out. And I think one card that is really, really relevant in this situation right here, right now, is going to be the Lava Golem. It depends on how well Manuel can play around it, because at the moment there's only 1 monster on his side of the field. But of course there is a way already set in his back row to bring another monster onto the field.
The problem is, immediately after the Super Factorial resolves and the Laplation hits the field, it uses the most important effect already.
That's true, yeah. So, looks like we did add Purrely to our hand, and we have not normal summoned yet, so that would be a way to extend. The thing is, if we decide to normal summon Purrely, then there is no way to actually special summon out the Lava Golem anymore, so...
Yeah.
I'm
let's
just
see.
thinking, do you like it here, the Super Factorial? Because I don't see what you're
tough. It's certainly tough.
How is this Purrely Lily ever going to activate its effect this turn? Because you can't activate any more spells, so how are you going to get any of the other Purrely spells into the graveyard?
The anti-spell is really, really rough here. We're getting rid of the Purrely, maybe even hitting the Lava Golem, so there is no discussion about that anymore.
I mean, you could just use the on-field effect of Purrely to equip the Sleepy Memory and itself and make a Exceed monster right away, and I think you want to prevent that.
No, you can't do that because you have to rank up to a Purrely monster that mentions Sleepy Memory, and there isn't. It hasn't been released yet. There is one in the WCQ.
Oh, you're right. True. There's only the Sleepy Memory.
Yeah, you have to have one of the other ones.
Oh, true. Absolutely good catch. We are going to, of course, get rid of the Purrely, and which card in hand is going to follow? Is it going to be? It's Triple Tactic Talons. That card would have not done anything there. And there is still the Lava Golem in the hand of Adrian, I'm pretty sure. But we will not be able to summon it this turn because we will be normal summoning the Purrely. And let's see what we're going to hit. Or is he going to negate it? He is
I think he's not going to negate that effect. He's rather going to negate the effect of revealing a memory in hand and then exceed summoning that.
Probably. So, what are we hitting? That's not a hit, but that is my friend Purrely, which also will not be able to be activated here this turn.
This anti-spell fragrance is really putting in some work.
But that is going to be a Link one summon. Very unusual for the deck.
Oh, the Anima.
Oh,
wow.
Of course. Anima takes or makes use of the fact that the Heat Soul is pointing towards it, and that is going to be the game here from Manuel.
Remember, if you are in top 16, you are really, really close to a Worlds qualification.
Yes, absolutely. So, who is going to start things off? Both players actively looking at the hand, so you couldn't really tell, but it is indeed Adrian Durzon starting things off here. Going first with his Purrely deck, starting with the Purrely field spell, the good old stray Purrely Street.
Yeah, I love this card. Sometimes these like extra little effects that are on field spells can catch you by surprise, just making your monsters untargetable during the turn they're special summoned. It's a really powerful effect, and you know, sometimes players aren't prepared for it, because a lot of hand traps in Manuel's deck might just be switched off instantly.
Totally. Oh, and I think Manuel is heavily considering to act on that activated Purrely Happy Memory.
I think Purrely is one of those decks where it is kind of reasonable to just ash the first thing that happens.
And they do here. Manuel decides
and
to
he
ash,
passed,
and
yes!
there's a pass! And you're passing it over to Cyber's deck that is very well known to just put up 8,000 damage quite easily, because access code Talker is super easy to make. And there's a one of Mathmech's Circular being revealed! That is huge! Mathmech going crazy! He has the one-off.
He has the one-off. No Signet Mining, no Small World, no Spirit Engine that goes into Alembertian. No, we are just going straight Circular, sending the Sigma, and there is a Signet Mining on top of it even.
Oh, he had the Ghost
discarding
Spell
the
as well.
bell here. So we're not even protecting ourselves from a Juris Worm or a Magnamut. That
Maybe
is
there's
interesting.
just another Ghost Spell.
Oh,
There's
wow!
a handshake. Adrian being disappointed. He knows his